Alright, Assalamu Alaykum Guys. Hope you guys doing well. Thank you. So today I'm gonna start with the breakdown of my DAT test and advice and tips how you guys can do as well as me. So it was a long journey and it was really difficult, and essentially I took about approximately a year to study for it. When I began in January, and I started practicing with this book called DATdestroyer. And I started practicing it, taking look at it. But then afterwards, I fully started officially studying it was around June, and then I took my test in September. This is the year 2020. Now I took 6 months. Some people may take less, 2 months. Like some people might do it during the summer. Like some people might even like do it in a month. And still get good. So it really just depends on how you people like whoever person is. It just depends on the person. I personally needed a long time, and then so technically I took a year because I was exposed to the material, but officially I was 6 months. So yeah, it just depends on the person. But yeah, so I utilize multiple things on how to study this. So the first things first, what I did is, I'm sure if you guys heard, I don't know if you guys heard of Course Saver. Well, it's not really active anymore. But Chad's had a bunch of videos on there which were sort of catering to medical, pharmacy, dental, all kinds of students. He would go and put PowerPoints and videos of him writing on the board, and I would write the notes, and then he had quizzes after the videos, so we would be able to apply the knowledge we learned. But since he doesn't have that, he has his own website now. I think because of some reasons he broke apart from that company. But I would utilize his website called chadsprep.com, and he has his notes there, and he has quizzes there, so it's perfect for students who are going to medicine, for dentistry, for pharmacy, or anyone other health field who have some sort of exam they have to take. Go to his website. So for my dental students, I would say watch his videos, learn the notes. It's great for relearning the material as well as learning material that you have not learned. Watch the videos, take notes, and then take the quizzes. That's what I did. And then I bought the book DATdestroyer. And then when I bought the book DATdestroyer, I was rinsing through the book. I did the problems. I went through the book multiple times, like from every section: math, chemistry, organic chemistry, biology. I did all of that. So after rinsing the book and rinsing the quizzes, then until I had the material down. And I was doing this for a long time, probably until like July, or actually till August. Late July and August is when I started to test my knowledge, or to test whether I actually, from all the problems and all the videos and notes, if I actually knew the material. That's when I started to utilize a program called DATbooster. And there's two programs, DATbooster and DATbootcamp. Bootcamp, in my opinion, is really expensive. It's about $500 from when I last checked. Booster is really more cheaper. When I was taking it, it was 170 or something, or 120. But then they gave me like $50 back, provided I gave them feedback. And yeah, it's really expensive bootcamp. And so I would say I use DATbooster. The difference is DATbootcamp is they're more accurate on the scoring. That was more tell you about the score that you can get on your real test. But Booster gives you, it's generally your score, but 1 or 2 points less. So you just add a few points. But essentially, they're very good. They prepare you very well. It's the same thing. It's just cheaper. I mean, now it's a bit more expensive, maybe $200 or something. When I was, it's gotten more expensive. But I would say pick them. Don't be afraid to spend money when you're studying for your exam, because it's going to help you in the long run. So after that, I was using Booster. I was getting the scores and everything. And I would say close to a week out, I'll use DATbootcamp. Their one free test, and as a way to predict your score, what you can get. They're very accurate, and it can be sometimes encouraging or discouraging, but it'll give you a general idea where you're supposed to be. So after I finished all the science exams, I would not use a QR on the Booster website program because the QR was too difficult. It was discouraging, and I didn't do it. I did do Math Destroyer. Like the guy Orgoman who released the DATdestroyer workbook, he released a booklet, Math Destroyer, which had 12 individual tests, 40 problems in 45 minutes each test. And the real DAT was so much close to it. It was so like it that I would say get that book. It is so worth it. And if you can do really good in those exams, you'll guarantee to do good in the real DAT for the math section. So that's what I did. The booster math, it was QR, it was so off, it was weird, and I mean the format's the same, but it was too difficult, and it just, I don't know. But math is short. I mean, it's still difficult. The real test is easier, but it was just, in my opinion, math sure I was more satisfied. DATbooster, the QR, I didn't even bother. Now their PAT is really good. The only thing about the PAT booster, the website, is that the angles need to be harder, and it just, because the real DT, the angles, like, look, you're gonna think it's something like these two. No, 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 no. It's something bogus like this. It's so small, and they make it purposely small that you can't even tell, like, if which one angle is bigger, which angle is smaller. It's ridiculous. Oh, and then keyholes are nothing like the generators on PAT booster. If anything, they're much more harder, and they gave me a bunch of these rocks, 5 rocks in a row or 3 rocks, and I had to guess. That's why my PAT score is low. My PAT score was 18. So, like I said, those are things I will look out for in the PAT. Now, for biology, what I did is I watched videos. I used the DATdestroyer biology book. There was like 700 poems. So when I did the problems, I studied every answer. Like, I didn't just memorize the answer. Like, oh, it's this. Okay, photosynthesis happens because of this. No, I looked at the question, the answer, and then the other answer choices as to what they are, what do they mean. So it was essentially like 4 questions in 1 question. So it was like 700 times 4 was I don't even know how to do math. 7 times 4 is 28. Yeah, so 2,800 to basically 2,800. Facts that were helpful, or biology. So it was those were good. As watched videos, as well as yeah, and then I went through Feralis's PDF. So Feralis is a guy who comprised notes of biology on PDF, and if you go through them, it's really helpful. It's really good. So make sure you go through his PDF. It's more pleasing. There's a lot of people recommend using AP Cliff Notebook. I would say don't use that. It's a waste of time. It's not pleasing. It's off. It's, like I said, it doesn't make sense. I would say don't buy it. It's useless. But if you want to, go ahead, but I would say you're wasting your money. I didn't find any help from it. The book from DATdestroyer, their biology book, was helpful. It's all in one big workbook. That section was very helpful. The videos on YouTube, like Khan's Academy and such and that. Some parts, if I didn't understand a certain concept, I would look it up, like circulation of blood, certain mnemonics that would help you remember it or something. That would be helpful. And then, when I was talking to Feralis, I actually spoke to him when I was giving feedback, because he works with DATbooster, and when I was giving feedback, I was because they normally take feedback from students about what certain type of questions are on the test, and they use that to develop their material, so it's more accurate for other students, and it helps them on the real test. And when I was telling him, then what I learned was the last tests on biology, 8, 9, 10, half of those questions appear in the real test. So if anything, it's helping you. And I was like, wow, these questions, I've seen them before. I have them all memorized, or I know these questions. I've seen them before. And that's how I was like, wow, this helped me a lot. So it was really helpful. So yeah, that's why I would say, definitely do that. Like, don't buy the AP Cliff's book. First thing, I watched Chad's videos and took notes, took quizzes, DATdestroyer. Then for math, I did the math destroyer. And then a week out, or once you're getting close to the test range, utilize the booster. Utilize the booster, and and then use the DATbootcamp free test a week out to gauge what you're doing. Definitely make use of the 2007 DAT test and the 2009 DAT test. They're free samples released officially by them, and generally it should be a gauge or a warning to where you are. 2007's test is very easy, but so if you can do that test and you give it good marks, then that's a good sign you know what's going on. 2009 is a little bit more difficult, but it still helps that if you're doing good. So if you take an average, in my opinion, of 2007 to 2009, it does give you a general idea of how you're going to do on the real test. So definitely those two tests, they're really good. I'm gonna post I did a breakdown of all this of my exam on SDN, another resource that all medical health care students should use. SDN.net, student.network. And essentially they have questions and forums. So I did a breakdown of my DT test. I'm gonna post it on, everything I'm saying, I'm gonna post it below on my link, so you guys can utilize and look at that. But yeah, those are everything how I did, and I'm gonna share you guys my DT test score, so you guys know like how I did, because I can tell you it helped me a lot. On the PET, I got 18. That was a section that was probably my weakest section, which is like an average. 17 or 18 is the average. QR is 21, and the test is out of 30. QR is 21, RC is 21, biology is 20, general chemistry is 24, organic chemistry is 30, total science is 23, academic average is 23. So it generally gives you a gauge, like that's my score. And yeah, so it's generally if you get a 20 or above, that's good. If you get a little below or just average, then that's okay too, but better if you get 20 or above. Now 98% plus 23, and I was able to get it. So that's how I did it. And if you do it my way or however, or if you if you use the advice I give you, I guarantee you're gonna get a good score. All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment below, and then feel free to message me or ask me of anything. And inshallah, I'll be making more videos. This video was simply about the DAT breakdown, and yeah, inshallah this should help you. Inshallah, you guys will do good, and yeah, and I'll be making more videos. All right. Thank you guys. All right. Assalamu Alaykum Warahmatullah.